Hello, I'm John Coleman from ApocatastasisInstitute, an institute for the humanities and alternative college and high school here on New Milford, Connecticut, USA. We are approaching the spring semester, and I would just encourage everyone to get to know the institute by checking out our Conversation with series. We've concluded over 260 conversations these last 5 years in a wide variety of topics, somehow or other connected to the humanities. And we'll be doing some presentations as we grow and move towards a campus in the year ahead and make an earnest effort for that. And one of the questions that has come up with one of the staff members lately was, should we do an FAQ, or, how do we get our hands on what apokatastasis is? And I would say, check out the conversation series, and you can see the wide diversity of topics and people and opinions, and we can all get along. So check that out. And Adam, as we're getting going here, we'll hear at the end of this broadcast about your mathematical services. But Adam, why are you naked? What the hell is going on? Why am I naked? What is this? And how does naturism fit into the philosophy of apokatastasis?
Well, for me, I'm going to be more of an antagonist when it comes to textualism. So if I can give my accord in terms of what I see as wrong with the current way of doing things, more so than I think necessarily some deep, stronger connection. Although that does like something up your wheelhouse. So in regards to what I see as wrong with what I call systemic textualism, the fact simply is that there's really no defense for the current way that we view clothing and the current way we view nudity. We sort of pretend as though clothing can protect us in a symbolic sense, and that somehow translates into reality rather than staying purely in the realm of symbols. We have policies that punish people for not engaging in the ritual and the symbol of idolatry to clothing, but we claim that we're not religious. Like, we have a very secular religion in how we treat clothing. And so for me, it's more about pushing back against that.
Excellent. Thank you for that explanation there. And Adam and I do a couple naturist related series where we focus on different topics of faith or just philosophy, literature. Sounds like we have a lot to come up with in the new year. Adam gave me a great rundown, so you can check that out. But for today, we're going to focus on Euclid. So Adam, I'm going to mute myself momentarily for audio optimism, but I will be scrolling as you need, so please give directions as you require. And with that, sir, you have the floor, and I will scroll away at your discretion.
Cool. Well, today's preposition is a very straightforward one. And a neat thing about this preposition is we're going to be able to use what we did last week, I think it was, or a week or two ago, when we did preposition 31. This is more just a practical proof that sort of falls out of all of the work we've done so far. It's a really nice one, and it's kind of a classic. If you're familiar with the fact that the angles of a triangle, at least in Euclidean space, all sum up to 180 degrees, this is actually that proof. This is literally that proof, that fact that almost everybody knows about triangles. This is where it's from. We can actually see something that you're probably familiar with from high school. And the way we're going to start with this triangle, A, B, and C. So we want to scroll down so we can see the picture. Yep. So we're going to start off with that triangle A, B, and C. And what we're going to do is we're going to produce it. That is, we're going to extend the line BC all the way out to D. And then what we're going to observe, once we get through this proof, is that the angle ACD is going to end up equaling the sum of the angles CAB and ABC. And in addition to that, it's going to be shown that that the angles of A, B, and C, all those angles, are all going to sum up to that of two right triangles. AKA, it sums up to 180 degrees in modern terminology. All right, so once we've produced it, once we've produced CD, what we're then going to do is we're going to use the preposition we just got done proving to make a new straight line CE that is parallel to BA. If you recall, we can do that. We can choose a point, or an arbitrary point, in this case C, and an arbitrary straight line AB, and we can draw a straight line that is on C, such that C is on that straight line, where that straight line is also parallel. And that's how we're getting CE. And that's where all that work we did in the last proposition, that's where it really pays off, is letting us do that. And once we do that, we can then use a lot of the prepositions we used previously, like preposition 29, we get a lot of use out of that, where we can observe that BAC and ACE have to equal each other because they're alternate angles. And ABC and ECD have to equal each other because they're opposite angles. And so as a result, because we have those two facts, we are now then able to observe that, like, by straightforward reasoning, that BAC being equal to ACE and ECD being equal to ABC, their sums are going to have to equal because they themselves individually equal. And so there's the first part that we just noted. And then after that, we just go from that to the fact that we can just add ACB to that angle. And therefore we derive that the sum of those angles is going to be equal to two right angles, because the sum of any straight line with another another straight line on top of it, like a CE, as we went through way earlier on, back in 13, does in fact equal two right angles. And that's it.
Great. And for the audience, the previous shows to this series are down below, as is the most helpful, simple website that we've been using. A lot of good gold on those old sites, I can tell you. Adam, before we knock off here and carry on with our day, what do you offer by way of instruction here at the Institute for younger students, for older students, for parents, etc.?
Well, my main specialty is teaching adults mathematics, although I do have some experience teaching children as well. The main thing that I would like to offer parents, particularly parents who are interested in homeschooling their children, which is probably more important now than ever before, who themselves have a bit of math anxiety, is helping you overcome that math anxiety by giving you some math confidence that you can then use to better instruct your children in their math work, so that you can better guide them and answer their questions when they're trying to learn geometry and algebra.
Excellent. I recorded a show with David Rodriguez earlier today, and we noted in this education news show that we do the rise of homeschooling, something like 5% growth in the past couple of years, which is remarkable for any community. And so, as Jesus Christ and as Spider-Man remind us, to whom much is given, much is required. And it's good that people are seeing the problems with Rockefeller education, but we need to raise the bar in homeschooling, unschooling, whatever the hell it is that we're doing in Collegeville, alternative college, whatever. And part of that for parents is to avail yourself of qualified ongoing instruction, and Adam's your man for that. So to the audience, thank you for your consideration and your interest, of course, in Euclid besides. And Adam, thank you for giving us some insights in Euclid and naturism, and indeed mathematics in general.
My pleasure.